Section 352.10 of the National Electrical Code, or NEC, outlines specific instances where conduit must be encased in concrete. These requirements are in place to provide additional protection for the conduit and the conductors it contains, ensuring safety and longevity of the electrical system. Firstly, conduit is required to be encased in concrete when it is installed under a building or structure. This is because the weight and pressure of the building can damage the conduit over time, potentially leading to electrical faults. The concrete encasement provides a protective barrier, distributing the load and preventing damage to the conduit. Secondly, concrete encasement is necessary when conduit is installed in a vault. Vaults are often located underground or in areas where they may be exposed to moisture, chemicals, or other environmental hazards. The concrete encasement protects the conduit from these elements, preventing corrosion and ensuring the integrity of the electrical system. Thirdly, conduit installed in a tunnel must also be encased in concrete. Tunnels, similar to vaults, can be subject to moisture, chemicals, and physical damage. The concrete encasement provides a robust layer of protection, preventing damage to the conduit and maintaining the safety of the electrical system. Fourthly, the NEC requires concrete encasement for conduit installed in corrosive environments. Corrosive environments can include areas where there are high levels of moisture, chemicals, or other substances that can damage the conduit. The concrete encasement acts as a barrier, preventing these corrosive elements from coming into contact with the conduit and causing it to deteriorate. Fifthly, conduit must be encased in concrete when it is installed in locations subject to physical damage. This includes areas where the conduit may be struck by vehicles, equipment, or other objects. The concrete encasement provides a strong protective layer, preventing the conduit from being damaged by these impacts. It is important to note that the specific requirements for concrete encasement may vary depending on the type of conduit being used and the specific installation conditions. It is always best to consult the NEC and other applicable codes and standards to ensure that the installation meets all requirements. Additional considerations for concrete encasement include the type of concrete used, the thickness of the concrete encasement, and the method of installation. The concrete should be of sufficient strength and durability to provide the necessary protection for the conduit. The thickness of the concrete encasement should be adequate to prevent damage to the conduit from external forces. The method of installation should ensure that the concrete encasement is properly bonded to the conduit and that there are no voids or gaps in the concrete. When installing conduit in concrete, it is also important to consider the potential for expansion and contraction due to temperature changes. The concrete and conduit will expand and contract at different rates, which can create stress in the conduit and potentially lead to damage. To mitigate this risk, expansion joints can be installed in the conduit run to allow for movement. Furthermore, it is essential to ensure proper grounding and bonding of the conduit system. The concrete encasement can interfere with the grounding path, so it is important to ensure that the conduit is properly grounded and bonded to the electrical system. This will help to prevent electrical shock hazards and ensure the safe operation of the electrical system. In summary, Section 352.10 of the NEC requires conduit to be encased in concrete in several specific scenarios, including when it is installed under a building or structure, in a vault, in a tunnel, in corrosive environments, and in locations subject to physical damage. These requirements are in place to protect the conduit from damage and ensure the safety and longevity of the electrical system. It is important to consult the NEC and other applicable codes and standards to ensure that the installation meets all requirements. Other sections of the NEC may also apply to conduit installations. Section 300.5, for example, provides requirements for underground installations, including minimum burial depths. Section 314 covers outlet boxes, device boxes, and pull boxes. These boxes must be sized and installed properly to provide adequate space for conductors and splices. Section 330 covers metal-clad cable, also known as MC cable. MC cable is often used in commercial and industrial applications and can be installed in concrete. Section 334 covers non-metallic sheet cable, also known as NM cable. NM cable is commonly used in residential applications and is not permitted to be installed in concrete except under certain conditions. Section 344 covers rigid metal conduit, also known as RMC. RMC is a heavy gauge conduit that is often used in harsh environments and can be installed in concrete. Section 348 covers intermediate metal conduit, also known as IMC. IMC is a lighter gauge conduit than RMC and can also be installed in concrete. Section 350 covers flexible metal conduit, also known as FMC. FMC is a flexible conduit that is often used for connecting equipment and can be installed in concrete under certain conditions. Section 356 covers liquid-tight flexible metal conduit, also known as LFMC. LFMC is a flexible conduit that is liquid-tight and is often used in wet locations. It can be installed in concrete under certain conditions. Section 358 covers electrical metallic tubing, also known as EMT. EMT is a thin-walled conduit that is commonly used in commercial and industrial applications. It can be installed in concrete under certain conditions. Section 362 covers electrical non-metallic tubing, also known as ENT. ENT is a flexible non-metallic conduit that is often used in residential applications. It can be installed in concrete under certain conditions. In addition to the NEC, other codes and standards may also apply to conduit installations. These may include local building codes, fire codes, and environmental regulations. It is important to consult with the local authorities to determine which codes and standards apply to the specific installation. The selection of the appropriate type of conduit for a particular application depends on a number of factors, including the environment, the voltage and current of the electrical system, and the physical requirements of the installation. For example, RMC is often used in harsh environments where the conduit may be exposed to physical damage or corrosion. EMT is often used in commercial and industrial applications where the conduit needs to be lightweight and easy to install. NM cable is often used in residential applications where the conduit needs to be inexpensive and easy to work with. The proper installation of conduit is essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of the electrical system. Conduit should be installed in accordance with the NEC and other applicable codes and standards. Conduit should be properly supported and secured to prevent it from moving or sagging. Conduit should be protected from physical damage and corrosion. Conduit should be properly grounded and bonded to the electrical system. When installing conduit in concrete, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions and to use the correct materials and methods. Concrete should be properly mixed and placed to ensure that it is strong and durable. Concrete should be properly cured to prevent cracking and shrinkage. The concrete encasement should be thick enough to provide adequate protection for the conduit. The concrete encasement should be properly bonded to the conduit to ensure a good electrical connection. In addition to the specific requirements for concrete encasement, the NEC also contains general requirements for the installation of conduit. These requirements cover a wide range of topics, including the size and type of conduit, the number of conductors permitted in a conduit, the bending radius of conduit, and the support and securing of conduit. It is important to be familiar with these general requirements when installing conduit, regardless of whether or not it is being encased in concrete. For example, the NEC specifies the maximum number of conductors that are permitted in a given size of conduit. This is to prevent overheating of the conductors and to ensure that the conduit is not overloaded. The NEC also specifies the minimum bending radius for conduit. This is to prevent damage to the conduit and to ensure that the conductors can be pulled through the conduit without damage. The NEC also requires that conduit be properly supported and secured to prevent it from moving or sagging. This is to protect the conduit from physical damage and to ensure that it remains in place over time. The NEC also requires that conduit be properly grounded and bonded to the electrical system. This is to prevent electrical shock hazards and to ensure the safe operation of the electrical system. When working with electrical systems, it is always important to take safety precautions. These precautions include wearing appropriate personal protective equipment such as safety glasses and gloves, and using insulated tools. It is also important to energize the electrical system before working on it. This can be done by turning off the circuit breaker or removing the fuse that supplies power to the circuit. Before working on any electrical system, it is important to test the circuit to make sure that it is energized. This can be done using a voltage tester. A voltage tester is a device that can detect the presence of voltage in a circuit. If the voltage tester indicates that there is voltage present, the circuit is not energized and it is not safe to work on. Only qualified electricians or individuals with proper training should perform electrical work. Electrical work can be dangerous if it is not done properly. It is important to follow all safety precautions and to consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns. The NEC is a comprehensive code that covers all aspects of electrical installations. It is important to be familiar with the NEC and to follow its requirements when installing electrical systems. The NEC is updated every 3 years, so it is important to stay up to date on the latest changes. The NEC is available from the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA. The NFPA also offers a variety of training courses on the NEC. In addition to the NEC, there are other codes and standards that may apply to electrical installations. These codes and standards may be developed by local governments, state governments, or federal agencies. It is important to be familiar with all of the codes and standards that apply to the specific installation. The electrical industry is constantly evolving. New technologies and new products are being developed all the time. It is important to stay up to date on the latest developments in the electrical industry. This can be done by attending trade shows, reading industry publications, and taking continuing education courses. By staying up to date on the latest developments in the electrical industry, you can ensure that you are providing your customers with the best possible service. And remember, local codes can vary, so always consult with the local authority having jurisdiction, or OJ, to ensure compliance with all applicable regulations.